Ain't No Sunshine by Bill Withers, in my opinion, is one of the best acoustic guitar songs in the world. From the chords, to the technique, to the groove, to the melody, it is all there. And not only am I going to tell you about it today, I'm going to show you how to play it as well.
Guitar Geeks Unite!
Absolutely love this song. I just do. I do. It's one of the songs that once you start playing it and you learn it, you get it under your fingers, it's hypnotizing. You can't stop. It's just lovely. Why do I love this song? Well, A, it sounds awesome. When you hear a song like this, you're like, awesome. You know, I played it like that and I kind of threw a bunch of stuff in there. The melody was there. The chords were there. Technique was there. The groove was there. It was all there. So when you go to learn a song like this or something that has kind of some more intricacies to it, you want to play it like it sounds. But that's not what I want you to do right off the bat. I want you to isolate the techniques and skills that are used. And that's exactly how I'm going to teach this to you today. I don't want you to try and do this all at once. I want to look at all the individual pieces, see how they play alone, and then see how they play together. So you get good at these skills and these techniques alone, and then when you're comfortable with them, you start to add them together, and then you get something that's a little bit more complete. But I don't want you to start there. Don't start at the top of the mountain. You can't just like catapult yourself to the top of the mountain. You got to climb that mountain step by step. That's exactly what we're going to do. So what do I love about this tune? The chords, the technique, the melody, the groove, even that little kind of bassy chord transition that just kind of drives it along like a slow-moving train. I love all the pieces. I'm going to show you those right now. We're going to kick things off with the chords, okay? There's three of them. It's a minor blues. It's a basic minor 1-4-5 blues, essentially, more or less. So you've got an A minor or an A minor 7. Okay, some people swear it's an A minor 7. Some people swear it's an A minor. I don't really care what you play. I think they both sound awesome. So pick one that's comfortable for you. For that A minor, you're going to fret the second fret of the D, the second fret of the G, the first fret of the B. And if you want to play an A minor 7, just lift off the finger that is fretting the G string, leave it open. You got a beautiful A minor 7 chord. So that's the first chord. Next up is an E minor 7. E minor 7. You're going to bar. Don't worry, there's a workaround on this, just so you know. Don't worry quite yet. You're going to bar the A through the high E string at the 7th fret. Your ring finger is going to grab the 9th fret of the D. Your middle finger is going to grab the 8th fret of the B. That's your E minor 7. Take this exact shape, move it towards the headstock, 2 frets. Right? So you're barring the 5th fret, A through the high E string. Ring finger is on the 7th fret of the D. Middle finger is on the 6th fret of the B. That is your D minor 7. So you have A minor or A minor 7, either one. E minor 7, D minor 7. Same tone. I don't want to do bar chords. Don't worry, I've got your back. What you're going to want to do for the E minor 7 alternate, we'll call it. We're going to grab the 3rd fret of the B and high E string, the 4th fret of the G, and we're going to play the low E string, okay? So in terms of your picking hand, your thumb will be on the low E, index the G, middle the B, and ring finger the high E. Doesn't sound exactly like an E minor 7, but you get the gist, right? Now you're going to take the same shape, move it towards the headstock, 2 frets, so you'll be barring the 1st fret of the B and high E, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G, and you're going to use your thumb on your picking hand to play the open D string. So your thumb's going to grab that D string, index the G, middle the B, ring the high E. There's your D minor 7. So you have, those are your chords, A minor 7, E minor 7, D minor 7, or again, A minor. You'll see why I use that here in just a moment. So that's the first step is, okay, you're looking at the song and you're like, cool, there's the chords involved. I can work on those. I can play through those chords. One of the other pieces I like to divvy the song up into, and I'm not doing this in any particular order, I'm just kind of showing you the pieces, is the technique, okay? So the way I approach this song, it's not necessarily done on the Bill Withers recording. However, if you combine what the drums are doing along with what Bill Withers is doing on the guitar, you kind of get something like this. And this is this kind of percussive approach with the picking hand. So let's isolate that technique. So all you have to do, just grab an A minor chord, just an A minor chord. And what you're gonna do is hit the thumb on your picking hand again, on the open A string, pluck the D, G, and B string with your index, middle, and ring finger respectively. So you have thumb on the open A, then you're gonna pluck those 3 strings, and then come back down on the strings. So it's thumb, pluck, smack, okay? When I say smack, that's just a way to talk through it. I don't want you slamming into your guitar. Don't bash the guitar. It's not about how hard you hit the guitar. It's quite simply making sure the strings hit the frets. You don't have to do it that hard. You just want that little kind of almost snare effect. And you can practice it just like this, right? I'm not fretting any chord, I'm just muting the strings. And I'm just kind of hitting the strings into the frets. Doesn't take that much pressure, it doesn't take that much force, right? So it's thumb, pluck, hit. Thumb, pluck, hit. Thumb, pluck, hit. Thumb, pluck, hit. And then I also add in a little stutter that I just want to show you. You don't have to do it. It kind of complicates matters, but it just shows the evolution of the technique. So that little stutter sounds like this. Right, you'll hear that. Thumb, pluck, smack, pick, pick. Sorry, the thing about it. Thumb, pluck, smack, pick, pick. Thumb, pluck, smack, pick, pick. 1 and 2 E and Yeah, 1 and 2 E and 1 and 2 E and And all I'm doing for those picks is I'm just grabbing the dead D string, the dead A string. Right, just adding a little stutter. It helps me keep time, and that was just a natural evolution for me. By no means do I want you to force that if it doesn't work for you. What I'm focusing here is this technique where you're getting, because you use it here too. Right, so that's the next piece that I really like, is looking at the song through the lens of where are the interesting chord transitions? How does the artist move from one chord to the next? And in this case, it's this wonderful little bass run. It's just an open low E, 3rd fret of the low E, and then an open A. And that brings you back to the start of your kind of technique, that percussive technique. With the stutter. Right, so that's a cool piece too, and that kind of helps that groove move along. It kind of helps that the rhythm kind of just carry itself. It's this perpetual motion. So we got the chords, we got the cool technique, we got this wonderful little kind of bass propulsion happening. Now let's look at the melody. What I love about this melody is that there's not that many notes, and it's all under your fingers as long as you're playing an A minor chord. It's all right there. Check this out. You play that 2 times. That's it, right? 2nd fret of the D, open G, 2nd fret of the G, 1st fret of the B, open B, open G, 2nd fret of the G. It's literally an A minor chord with a G note in it, which ironically is that A minor 7 chord, right? So it's all there. You play that line 2 times in a row. And then you go to the next part. Okay, and that's gonna be the 2nd fret of the G, 1st fret of the B, 3rd fret of the B, open high E, 3rd fret of the B, back to the high E, back to the 3rd fret of the B. And then I slide up to the 5th fret on the B. And that's just a little descending run, 5th fret of the B, 3rd fret of the B, 1st fret of the B, 2nd fret of the G, open G, back to the 2nd fret of the G. And then that's that 4th part. And that's 3rd fret of the B, 1st fret of the B, 2nd fret of the G, open G, 2nd fret of the G. I guess I hit that, kind of hammer into that 3rd fret. Anyways, you'll see it all in the tab. I don't want to go bananas by getting into the nitty gritty of the melody. I just want you to learn it because it's such a cool melody. And it's, to me, so memorable and easy to play within the rhythm that it's almost self-correcting in a way. It's like, you know the song, you know how the melody goes. So as you're playing it, you're like, oh, nope. And I mean, I even do that here in front of you watching right now. So that's the melody, right? And that the cool thing is you can start to combine these things, right? You can combine that bass run with the rhythm. Right? Once you're comfortable with that, you can work in the melody to that rhythm. Right? So all these pieces kind of start to morph together, but note, I'm not starting with all of that. I'm starting with the basic chords. I'm looking at the technique. I'm looking at the melody. I'm looking at how the bass kind of moves and propels the song along. I'm looking at all of those pieces individually, seeing how they work, seeing where they fit, and then I'm slowly starting to add them together to kind of form a more full, quote-unquote, arrangement, okay? And even if you just play the chords to this song and sing along, that's fine. You could do some of the pieces as well, that bass run. E7. Right? So it's a bunch of different ways you can approach this, but what I'm trying to encourage you to do, and I'll continue to beat the dead horse here, is divvy the song up into its necessary components. A lot of times, almost every time, there is a technique. There's a memorable lick. There's a certain key that the song is in, right? That will tell you or will guide you to what scale notes work if you want to play a solo or if you want to pick out the melody. There's certain chords involved. There's certain chord transitions involved. It's these 5 things that I try and look at the song through so that I can start to divvy it up and make sense of it, as opposed to just attacking every song as if it was brand new. And you'll note that the more you start to look at songs through these 5 distinct skills, the more you're going to start to see commonalities between songs. So it doesn't feel like you're starting over each time you learn a new song. You're building your guitar skill tool chest that you can take to the next song. And you're going to say, oh, cool, well, that song uses that too. Or that song has a similar feel to it. Or that song has the same chords. You're going to start to notice these wonderful similarities. And I think that in and of itself is worth its weight in gold, because you just know that you're starting to accumulate these tools as you go through these skills. And those tools don't go away. But if you just treat each song as its own separate precious thing, you'll never see the connection between all of them, because there is a strong connection between all of them, whether it's the technique, whether it's a lick, whether it's a key, whether it's the chords, whether it's the way the chords transition to one another. So all that to say, take a look at songs through these 5 skills. See if you can parse the songs down. See if you can start to isolate things. And then, when you get comfortable with them, start bringing them together. If you dug that lesson, I know for a fact you will love Tony's Acoustic Challenge, because that song is one that we dig into at length within TAC. Go ahead and click the link in the description below to learn more. There's over 41,000 students already in there, and every single week I teach the fundamentals of guitar through a song that you know and love, just like ain't no sunshine. Again, there's a link in the description to learn more. Now, we've got a lot more to go over in today's show. I've got some acoustic news for you that includes a free songwriting masterclass. You're not going to want to miss this. It is a great resource. We're also going to listen to Jim's guitar story, and he shows how the guitar pulled him through a very difficult time, maybe not in the way that you think. And then we're going to have a look at the Bruce Guitars Jane model. This is something that you likely have never seen before, and you need to. You need to know that it exists because it is a wonderful, wildly versatile instrument. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to address the issue of falling behind in your guitar journey, or rather the illusion of falling behind. That's all coming up, but first I want to share with you, or rather I want to ask you, a trivia question, and it relates to the lesson that we did right at the top of the show. Here's your question for the day. What job did Bill Withers have while he was trying to pursue his music career? Again, what job did Bill Withers have while he was trying to pursue his music career? You're gonna have to dig into the bowels of your memory for that. That's a little hint. Anyways, let's move on to Jim Ross's guitar story. This one is powerful, and this really shows how important the guitar is, of course, as a tool that you use, but also as something that you can quite simply see from across the room. I got my first guitar rig around 1965, a Gibson LP Junior double cutaway and an Epiphone Pathfinder amp. I was 15 and just knew I had to learn to play. My first song was Walk, Don't Run by The Ventures, and I learned it from the LP, Play Guitar Like The Ventures. Over the years, I've gone through a few guitars. I even had a spell without one when I got drafted in 1972. In case you haven't figured it out, or are just too polite to mention it, yeah, I'm getting old, but I still try to play every day. For me, the guitar has always been more than strings and wood. It's a magical device that speaks directly to the soul. It lets you communicate with anyone, no matter what language they speak. I know that might sound a little out there, but that's what it means to me. I'm not an accomplished musician, just an old bedroom strummer, and that's fine with me. The guitar has been my constant companion for most of my life. It's helped me get through heartache and sorrow, and it's helped me celebrate joy and connection. But I didn't fully realize just how much it meant to me until something happened that changed my world. It was November 2022, and I hadn't been feeling quite right. I figured it was just age catching up to me. I had my annual doctor's appointment coming up, so I thought I'd mention it then. After all, I never got sick. I held the record for attendance in my department 15 plus years without ever calling in. I stayed active, cycling and doing triathlons. What could possibly be wrong? The day after my physical, I got a call from the doctor's office. Go to the ER immediately. They're waiting for you. You need a transfusion. Within a week, I was sitting in the cancer center as a doctor explained my diagnosis and the steps ahead. Acute myeloid leukemia. I'd need to spend a month of December in the bone marrow transplant center in Atlanta. They told me I could bring whatever I wanted, a big screen TV, video games, whatever might help pass the time. I asked if I could bring my guitar. I promised to play quietly. They said, "We'd love to hear you play." I showed up at the transplant center with everything I thought I might need, including one of my guitars and a stand. I set it up in the corner of the room next to the couch. I imagined sitting there, playing, passing the time. But I was so sick I couldn't even make it from the bed to the couch. Still, just having it there, seeing it was enough. I'd lie in bed staring out at the cold gray December sky, wondering if I'd ever go home or ever play again. But even in the darkest moments, the guitar gave me something. I'd think about old friends I'd played with over the years, those magical moments when everyone was in sync and the music felt like lightning in a bottle. Before I left, I managed to play a little. A bunch of doctors and nurses gathered outside my room to hear me. Honestly, that was almost scarier than the diagnosis. I'm doing well now, and so far I've beaten the odds, but the truth is, I'm on borrowed time. And you know what? I'm cool with that. My playing has changed since coming home. I play with more passion, more dynamics, more heart. Even my wife of 50 years has noticed. She says she can see and hear how much my playing has shifted. And the best part is this. When I'm playing guitar, I'm not old, I'm not sick, I'm not tired. I'm just an old bedroom strummer hanging out with his lifelong friend. And that's just fine with me. Message to fellow guitar players. Don't take it for granted. Share your gift with anyone who will listen. Play with passion, play with commitment, and above all, have fun, even when it gets hard. Every Friday, we email out a guitar story just like this to remind you what really matters, so your playing stays rooted in meaning, not just practice. If you'd like to receive the Friday email or submit a guitar story of your own, go to guitarstories.com. Now some acoustic news you can use, and yes, we're going to kick things off with what I've been listening to this week, and it is a stack of wonderful instrumental albums for the most part. First, we're going to kick things off with Timber by Brian Rahija. I have mentioned this album before. It is an album I cannot escape. It is one of the most joyous instrumental albums I have ever heard. I love the tone that he achieves. I believe he's playing a nylon string guitar for the lion's share of the tunes on this album, and it's just glorious. I was just looking to see if there was a note on what guitar he's playing, but there's not. Quite simply, you need to hear this album. It is, like I said, it is a joyous instrumental album. And speaking of instrumental albums, this is one I picked up at my record store here, Cactus Records. Shout out Cactus Records in Bozeman. Stefan Grossman and John Renborn, two phenomenal guitar players. I mean, I picked up this album purely based on the fact that it had John Renborn's name on it, and of course, Stefan Grossman as well. Beautiful, beautiful songs contained on that album. This is the lone non-instrumental album that I have in my stack this week. Sterling Drake's Roll the Dice. Sterling Drake's voice is infectious. It is, dare I say, a little bit old-timey. I don't know if that's a great description. Great songwriter, great player. I had the chance to meet him last year at the, what's the name of that festival? The Old Salt Festival in Helmsville, Montana. A really cool food music festival. I ended up playing that festival with Tony Furtado, but Sterling Drake was there. I missed his set because I was late, which is kind of normally I'm running behind. But anyways, I had a chance to say hi and tell him that I just love his music. I love his playing. So check that album out. Next up, Andrew Marlin's Fable and Fire. I just mixed up the words there. Andrew Marlin's Fable and Fire. Andrew is from Watch House, and to hear him play solo is delightful. And when I say solo, these are composed instrumental tunes. There's a cast of characters on this album. Let me just run through it really quick. Christian Saddlemeyer, Clint Mullican, Jordan Tice, Josh Oliver, and Nat Smith. Jordan Tice and Josh Oliver are like a powerhouse of guitar. Beautiful players all throughout this album, and just a great album. I believe you can get it off of Andrew Marlin's Bandcamp if there's still copies available. I know it was kind of a short run, but keep your eyes out for that album. It's a fantastic one. And then last but certainly not least, Russell Potter, A Stone's Throw. This is an album I was not familiar with. I was at Record Breakers in Chicago, and sometimes the staff picks out records and they write a little description on the sleeve in the corner. And this one said, if I remember correctly, it said, for fans of John Fahey, you'll really dig this album, or something to that effect. So I bought this album purely based on staff recommendation, and I am so thrilled that I did. Thanks to the staff at Record Breakers for doing that, because you introduced me to a brand new artist. I was taking a look at the album, and I checked out the back, and it was on the Tompkins Square record label, and I thought to myself, yep, I got to get it. And I'm very, very glad that I did. I think you'll dig this if you're a fan of John Fahey, Peter Lang, anybody in that American primitive world. I think you'll really dig that album. That's what I've been listening to this week. Let me know what you've been listening to this week. I beg of you, let me know what you've been listening to this week. Let me know in the comments below. I love finding new artists, and you all are a wonderful source for that. Next up, this is something that is a wonderful opportunity for you. It is a masterclass in songwriting done by Andrea Stolpe. You've likely seen her on YouTube or Instagram. She offers these wonderful little nuggets of songwriting wisdom, and she put together, I think this thing is almost 2 hours long, and it's free. It's on YouTube. We're going to take a little look at it right now, just a little snippet of it, and this is a wildly beneficial songwriting masterclass. It has contained within it so much wisdom, so much inspiration, and so much perspective on the craft of songwriting and really how to approach it, how to do it. She knocks down a lot of walls. She removes a lot of hurdles with this class, and it's something that I think if you invest your time in, you will get a huge benefit from. So let's take a quick look at a little snippet from Andrea Stolpe's songwriting masterclass.
Hi, I'm Andrea Stolpe, and welcome to Becoming a Songwriter. I made this course because I wanted something comprehensive that songwriters of all levels could use to dip into some of the more common techniques and then also some of the more uncommon techniques that I think songwriters working in the industry find really useful. I really wanted this course to be free as well, so anyone, no matter your circumstance, could benefit from the tools and strategies you find here. At the ends of the lessons are exercises that you can use to structure your time that you have available, whether it's a very short 10-minute period while you're waiting to pick up the kids from school, or a longer stretch when you have really time to sink into your writing. I've also created a PDF guide that I hope will help you to visualize how these tools are laid out through the course and how they interact with each other. You can find that in the description below. I really hope this course is useful to you. If you find you're benefiting from it, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and send this course to someone that you feel could benefit from it. Thank you for being here, and I can't wait to hear how these tools and strategies are helping you to answer that calling in your life to create something beautiful through song. Let's go.
Here's something interesting. So I've been following Gibson TV on YouTube, and they are doing this search for Marty McFly's 1960 or 1961 Cherry Red Gibson ES-345 that was used in the movie Back to the Future. Michael J. Fox. Okay, not Marty McFly, but we'll call him Marty McFly for the sake of this because, well, that was his character in Back to the Future. Now, they're launching this big search for this guitar. Somehow, some way, this guitar has gone missing. And they're doing all these cool videos. They're interviewing the cast members from the movie. I just saw a video from Jason Isbell. There's a lot of buzz around this. Now, let's look at one of these videos, and then I want to come back and share my opinion on this because I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist when it comes to this, like a little tinfoil hat. But first, just so you know what I'm talking about, let's watch one of the videos that they did to launch the search for this mystery Marty McFly Gibson ES-345.
This guitar has been lost to the future.
We're kind of hoping you can help us find it.
Ask your friends, ask your relatives, ask your bandmates.
If you know where it is, if you know who has it, call us, text us.
You can go to losttothefuture.com or call this 800 number below. We need your help.
We'll make a hero out of you.
We will all be so grateful.
So what's my take on this? I think they already have the guitar, to be quite honest with you. I think this is kind of a PR marketing scheme. I don't want to be negative here, but it seems a little insidious. I feel like they have this guitar already. I think a guitar of this provenance is likely not to be lost, to be honest. I believe Norm's Rare Guitars sold it at one point with a letter and certificate of authenticity and all that stuff. And I would assume that whomever purchased this instrument is not going to lose it. Maybe they sold it, maybe they sold it. Maybe they needed some cash and they sold it and it got kind of lost in its lineage. But I don't really think it's lost. That's just my little conspiracy theory here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If they don't have it, if this is not a PR marketing thing, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry from the bottom of my heart, but I think it is. I think it is. I have no insider information, none whatsoever. I don't know. It seems unlikely that a guitar of this level of collectability would be lost. I know it's not an acoustic, but I had to bring it up to you. Next up, let's get back in the acoustic realm of things. Martin just released two models, a 0018 and a D18 CFM, the fourth 70th anniversary, or rather birthday model. Now, these guitars are modeled after D18, 0018 from 1955. And it's Chris Martin IV's 70th birthday. We're proud to introduce the D18 1955 CFM the 4th 70th, inspired by an original 1955 D18 recently acquired at auction. Now, I dig this. I dig this. Some of Martin's new models, I have a hard time. I feel like they're kind of a hard pill to swallow. This one I like because it reaches into their history and says, cool, our former CEO just celebrated his 70th birthday, so let's make a guitar in honor of that. It seems very on brand. They're reaching back into the history, modeling this guitar after an original 1955 D18, an original 1955 0018. I think it's cool. As far as the cost on this instrument, it comes in at $46.99, either model, the Dreadnought or the 000. I think that's good. I think it's good. I think it's a good thing. Again, I really dig that. I have a hard time with some of Martin's new models because they seem to push things outside of their wheelhouse, which is good for innovation, I guess. This is me just thinking out loud. But I like this. It feels very in line. So I dig that. And one more thing, and this is actually going to lead us into the guitar I'm going to review for you today. Fretboard Summit is next week. Fretboard Summit in Chicago at the Old Town School of Folk Music is next week. It goes from the 21st of August through the 23rd of August. It starts on that Thursday, the 21st. I will be there. I hope you will be there. If you're looking for something to do and you get a little bit of a wild hair right now, grab yourself a ticket. Grab yourself a 3-day pass if they're available. You will see guitars you never thought you'd see in person. You will meet hundreds of luthiers. That is no exaggeration. You will attend workshops. You will see performances. It is 3 days of pure guitar geek madness. Anything you could ever want from the guitar world is there in this 3-day span. It is a wonderful, wonderful place to be. This will be my fifth year. I attended the first year as just a spectator. I did a workshop and intro the second year. I did a workshop the third year. I guess this will be my 4th year attending. And it's awesome. They bill it as a 3-day guitar extravaganza, and that is it. Go to Fretboard Summit. What's the website? Fretboardsummit.org to learn more. It's in Chicago. It's at the Old Town School of Folk Music, a place that you have to be, or you rather have to visit. It should be on your bucket list. The Old Town School of Folk Music in Chicago is it's unique. It is a gem in the acoustic world. I had the wonderful experience of working there for 2004, 2005, 2004 up through 2008. It was a very formative experience for me because of the environment. So if you can't make it for Fretboard Summit, I'm bummed for you. But don't worry, the Old Town School of Folk Music is always there. They have wonderful concerts, wonderful classes, wonderful workshops. The store there is fantastic. They feature so many cool instruments, banjos, mandolins, all sorts of weird stuff from great builders. So put that on your list. Again, if you can't get there for Fretboard Summit, you still got to go there. If you ever find yourself in Chicago on the north side in the Lincoln Square area, it's a great place. It's a great place. And if you can see a show there, oh gosh, if you can see a show there, please do it. Their concert hall is absolutely beautiful. And you go there, it's a listening room. It sounds crystal clear, pristine. It's absolutely wonderful. I've seen so many wonderful shows there. I can't even begin to list them, but I'm going to try. Jerry Douglas, Carolina Chocolate Drops, Richie Havens, Infamous String Dusters, Khaki King, Colin Hay, Milk Carton Kids, many others. Abigail Washburn. The list goes on. Just put it on your list. Okay, I will not beat that dead horse anymore. I hope to see you at Fretboard Summit, August 21st through the 23rd. I don't know if I'm doing a workshop yet. I should probably reach out to Jason and figure that out. I'll do that. Moving on, and this is a great segue because I met the luthier that made this guitar at Fretboard Summit. My first year there, and it took me 2-3 years to order a guitar from him, and I did. And you're about to see it. This guitar was made by Micah Bruce of Bruce Guitars, and it is something that is an inspiration machine. It is so versatile. I won't get into all the details now because I'm going to review it for you. So without further ado, here is the Bruce Guitars Jane model. The Jane. Built by Micah Bruce of Bruce Guitars out of Omaha, Nebraska, as I mentioned. I don't even know how to do this review, to be quite honest with you. First, I want you to hear it so you get a sense of kind of what you're getting into. And then I'm going to go over the specifications, the details, and how wildly versatile this instrument is. So what exactly is the Jane? It's the most interesting guitar I think I've ever seen and or found. The Jane is essentially an electric guitar that really wants to be an acoustic guitar. It's kind of an acoustic guitar, but it's really more of an electric guitar, but it kind of has the voice of an acoustic guitar. Do you understand why this is so hard for me to explain? Let me go ahead and run through the specs because I think that will really help things. It'll help you kind of place this guitar in your mind and maybe mine as well because it's a hard one to place. It's the one outlier in my collection where I'm like, that kind of does a little bit of everything and I really like it. I'll get into the specs and then we'll kind of go through some of the tones that this guitar offers. So this is, of course, the Bruce Guitars Jane. It has a solid Sitka spruce top that is X-braced. The top looks like an acoustic guitar. It's a little bit thicker than an acoustic guitar, but if you looked on the inside, the top is X-braced. It looks just like an acoustic guitar. You've got this kind of floating bridge here, arch top style bridge. You got a trapeze tailpiece. I was like looking at it. I was like, what's the name of that thing? Trapeze tailpiece. You've got a neck pickup, a bridge pickup. These are Curtis Novak foil pickups. And I know for us acoustic guitar dorks or acoustic guitar geeks, that might not mean anything, but I have to say it because for those of you that know, or those of you that want to know, well, I want to make sure I get it right. Italian celluloid pick guard, volume control, tone control, the magic control. We'll get into that. Pickup selector switch here. On the back, you've got maple, and around the sides, you've got layered maple and birch. This guitar is relic. You'll notice that it has kind of a relic finish. I think Micah does a great job on this. It's very tastefully done. I think relicing is one of those things that you can look at it and you can say, that's tasteful. Or you can look at it and say, whomever reliced that guitar just went a little bit overboard. Maybe they had a bad day and they took it out on the guitar. Anyways, this is very, very well done, very tastefully done, very naturally done. Some of the marks that he's put on here and some of the checking, you'd swear that this guitar was 50, 60 years old. And that's what it actually takes its inspiration from. We'll get there in a second. The top is flat, the back is flat. This is not an arch top guitar. It is a bolt-on neck with these set-in neck ferrules here. You've got a maple neck, and this particular neck, I specifically asked Micah to make it beefier, just like an acoustic guitar. The nut width is 1.75 inches, so the neck feels like an acoustic guitar. And I was very specific when I spec'd this out. I said, you can keep everything stock on this guitar, everything, with the exception of the nut width and the neck profile. I want a thick neck profile with a wider nut, 1.75 inches. And man, it plays great. It feels it's so cool to play. Solid headstock, vintage style open gear tuners, and all in all, this guitar is a special, special instrument. We're gonna get into more details here in a moment, but let's go ahead and listen to it again. Don't worry, I did not forget about the magic knob. I didn't forget about the magic knob. We're gonna get there in just a second. So what do I use this guitar for? Why do I like it? I feel like this is, I hate to just define it so strongly. This to me is an electric guitar made for an acoustic guitar player. It sounds actually really full and rich unplugged. You're gonna say, I'll strum it here for a little bit here. You're gonna say, Tone, that sounds just like an electric guitar plugged in. It probably does, but as you're holding it, as you're feeling it, the whole body resonates. And as I mentioned, this is built like an acoustic guitar kind of. It's hollow. You've got an X-braced spruce top. You've got a tone bar braced back. The back and side, or the sides rather, are laminate material. So it needs to be somewhat reserved in terms of resonance so that it doesn't feed back like crazy, but it can also kind of give you this wonderful resonance that I think an electric guitar just quite simply does not offer. And in terms of feel, this is the most comfortable electric guitar I've ever played. I really hate calling it that because to me it's not. To me it's not at all. So back to my original question to myself. What do I like this for? Kind of everything. I can strum it. I feel like it sounds awesome. I can finger pick it, and if I mess with the controls, I can get some really cool tones out of it. Some good thump and thick bass with some nice clear cutting trebles. And speaking of tone, let's go ahead and run through what this guitar offers. Now, I'm going to go through and play each setting isolated so you can hear each pickup and what it does. And we're going to get to that magic knob here in just a moment. It's going to be the last thing I talk about, but I tell you, it's worth the wait. I tell you, it's worth the wait. Okay, so you've got a neck pickup, okay? Neck pickup, Curtis Novak gold foil pickups. These pickups are kind of microphonic. I think they fit this guitar really well because they offer a little bit of that body resonance within them. In fact, when I recorded this guitar, I used the direct out of the amplifier. I didn't even use a microphone at all because I wanted you to get a pure signal. And it's funny because as I was talking to the camera, I could hear my voice through the pickups. It was kind of funny. Anyways, besides the point, you've got a neck pickup. You've got a volume and tone. Of course, that controls how loud the pickup is, and the tone either rolls off some of that high end or brings more high end into the picture. In this middle position here, it's both pickups, both the neck and the bridge. So you get a little bit more full, kind of broader spectrum sound. And then if you flip it all the way down towards the floor, you get just the bridge pickup. It's real bitey, it's real brittle, it's real articulate. Think almost country Telecaster type vibe. And then we have the magic knob. Beneath this bridge, on the inside, there is a bridge plate. And on that bridge plate, there is a K&K Pure Western pickup, an acoustic guitar pickup. And you can control it with this knob. You can turn it all the way down so it's completely off. Then you just have an electric guitar, basically. And then you turn it on and just slowly blend in that pickup. And I got to tell you, I'm floored with what that pickup adds in terms of body, in terms of clarity, in terms of airiness, in terms of detail, but not that magnetic pickup detail, more of that, well, acoustic guitar detail. So let me go ahead and run through each of these settings in isolation. Okay, I didn't go bananas with tone combinations here. Of the playing samples that you've heard thus far, I basically dial in a tone that I really like. It's about 75% K&K, about 60% both the neck and bridge pickups. So it's a good mix, and the tone is sitting at just a little over halfway to bring in some clarity. But I want you to hear each isolated sound source alone so you can kind of hear the wide range of tones this guitar is capable of. We'll start with the neck pickup. We'll move to both the pickups. I'll hit the bridge pickup and then I'll blend in only the K&K. So these are isolated sound sources. Okay, I'm not doing any mixing whatsoever. Isolated sound sources. I just want you to hear each one again so you can hear how broad of a spectrum of tone this particular guitar offers. So there you have it, the Bruce Guitars Jane model. Micah Bruce is an extremely talented builder. I don't know if talented is even the right word. He works extremely hard. He is a guitar geek down to his core. I first met Micah at the Fretboard Summit. He had a single O guitar there that was absolutely remarkable. So much so that I was showing some very keen interest. And he then told me that that was his own personal guitar that he built. And I was like, cool, man, cool. But we actually, it allowed us to strike up a really good conversation and kind of carry forward this great friendship. And then by the second or third Fretboard Summit, he brought this. I think it was the second Fretboard Summit. He brought this, and by the third Fretboard Summit, I ordered it. In fact, I contacted him maybe 5 months before the show, and I was like, "Are you bringing a Jane model?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm definitely bringing a Jane model." I said, "Is it spoken for?" He said, "No." I said, "Can I speak for it?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "The only tweak, as I mentioned before, is the wider nut with the thicker neck profile." And at first, it was funny because when I mentioned this to Micah, I think he might have thought that I was a little bit nuts. He's like, "Yeah, are you sure? I can do that." And I said, "Yes, please do that. This is exactly what I want." He actually showed this guitar at Fretboard Summit, so other people could play it too. And I believe, I don't know if this could be mythology, this could be my own creation, this could be a dream sequence, but I believe Adam Levy played this guitar, the wider nut width, the thicker neck profile, and I think it got his wheels turning, and I do believe he ordered a Jane, maybe with similar specs. I don't know. Adam, if you're watching, let me know in the comments. For those of you who don't know Adam Levy, find him. Find him online. Find his music. He is one of the most Zen-like, knowledgeable, approachable instructors on the internet. Fantastic guitar player. He's kind of a no ego type of player, and I absolutely admire that. I really do, because he has the skill set to blow the doors off of somebody, if that's even a term in guitar. I don't think it should be, but I'm just kind of speaking direct from the heart here. But he sets his ego aside. I don't even know if it's really present, and he's just a caring, thoughtful teacher, great player, and I do believe he ordered a Jane model based on this one, I think. Again, I could be making this up, but I'm pretty sure. I'm about 72% sure. Anyways, if you get a chance to try one of these, if you're heading to the Fretboard Summit, look up Micah Bruce, go by his booth, check him out. You'll be delighted in his purebred acoustic guitars, as well as this model. He also has some killer electric guitars for those of you who are in the market. He has a lot of these cool water slide decals, like old flowers and things. Great colors, cool vibe. I've said enough. You're done hearing me talk. Let's hear the Jane one more time. I want to address something really quick. Well, I'm going to try and address it really quick. I feel like this is a can of worms, big time. There has been so many students who have reached out to me through the years, 20 plus years I've been teaching guitar, whether it's been in person, online, doesn't matter. I constantly get this question, or rather, I constantly hear this statement. I got to catch up. Tony, I feel like I'm falling behind. I got to spend some time catching up. And I just want to isolate that statement. I have to catch up. What do you have to catch up to? I'm talking about your guitar journey, of course. Or what are you falling behind from? I'm somehow, some way, I missed the timeline, the schedule of events for a guitar player's journey. I have not found it. I don't even think it exists. In fact, this is very tongue-in-cheek. I know it does not exist. There is no schedule for your guitar journey. And I say this because there is this notion, this common myth, this misconception that somehow you can fall behind, or somehow you need to catch up. What are you falling behind from? What are you catching up to? I just quite simply don't understand. And to me, it conjures up this feeling of, I should be further along right now, or I haven't gotten to where I want to be. Now let's just sink into that for a second. Sometimes as guitar players, oftentimes as guitar players, we set goals. We have a vision for ourselves in terms of what we want to be, how we want to play, what we want to play. And I'm not against goal setting. I think goal setting, if done correctly, is one of the best things you can do. Now, when I say goal setting correctly, let me just give you a brief bullet list of what that means. Your goal should take no longer than 90 days to complete. Why? 90 days is a magical window. It's long enough to achieve something that's beyond your comfort zone, and it's short enough to give you a little bit of a fire under your butt to go ahead and achieve that goal. Any goal that takes longer than that is likely going to be missed because the time frame is quite simply too long. You'll lose focus, you'll take detours, you'll get there someday. So a 90-day window for your goal is essential. Furthermore, the goal has to be something that is beyond your current skill set, but not too far beyond your current skill set, okay? If it's too far beyond your current skill set, it's gonna seem impossible. It's gonna be like climbing Mount Everest without any training. Whereas if the goal is within your skill set or it's not pushing you, you'll achieve it and think to yourself, oh, I guess that wasn't that hard. Now what? Now I bring up this proper goal setting. Actually, there's one more thing I wanna mention. And that is your goal has to be specific. I'm talking nauseatingly specific. Quite simply, having the goal of being better at bar chords is not a good goal. It's a worthy cause, believe me, but it's not a worthy goal. Why? Because it's not that specific. Better at bar chords. What does that mean? What is better? Better than you were yesterday? Bar chords, which one? Which bar chord? All of them? I mean, that's a lot of bar chords, right? So a better goal in that scenario would be, I really want to clean my F chord up, my F bar chord. I want to clean it up and I want to make sure that the G and the D string don't buzz. And I have to get better contact on that high E as well. That is a specific goal. That is something you can say, okay, in 90 days, I played my F bar chord, the D and the G string are clear, that high E string is all of a sudden ringing out as well. That is a specific goal. So I wanted to go over that first because where I think we get into trouble and where we get this feeling of, I'm falling behind, I need to catch up, is when we don't specify a goal. We just quite simply have this feeling of, I need to be better. Again, not clear, not specific. So if you have a goal or if you have this, I need to be better in my mind, well, you're never going to feel like you're caught up, or you're never going to feel like you're not falling behind. You're always going to feel less than. It's a terrible mental space to be in. A terrible mental space. Why? Because how crummy is it to feel like you're never good enough? That we got plenty of stuff in our life to not feel good enough at, right? Balancing your checkbook. Do people balance their checkbooks anymore? That was a lame example. But there's plenty of things in your life that carry that guilt or that sense of negative obligation. Don't let guitar fall into that category. You played guitar to have fun. You played guitar to feel fulfilled. You played guitar to quite simply have something that is yours. Something that is yours that brings you pure joy, 100% joy. Is it going to be frustrating at times? Maybe. Is it going to be difficult at times? Yeah. Is it going to feel harder than you want it to feel? Probably. But guitar is pure joy. Guitar is that something, that little slice of something you have for yourself that quite simply no one can take away. So you're not falling behind. You don't need to catch up. You quite simply need to enjoy every day, and the rest will take care of itself. If you think about how you play or why you play, and it's purely based on a singular outcome, and I'm not talking a goal here. I'm talking, I'll reach my point of success when I can play this song. What happens when you get to that song? You get this tiny moment of exhilaration, and then all of a sudden you feel like, oh, that's it? I guess that's it. Now what do I do? Whereas, if you focus on the process, showing up on a daily basis or every other day basis, if you focus on showing up and putting in just a small amount of time, if that is your focus, that will get you to your goals, but it will propel you past your goals because you're focusing on the process, not the outcome. The outcome, although it seems very romantic and it seems very exciting, is not that fulfilling, to be quite honest. The process is what's fulfilling. And that's what I want you to focus on. That will help you extinguish that thought of, I fell behind or I need to catch up. Grand exit from the soapbox. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I hope you find that beneficial. And I truly hope you find these coaching sessions beneficial because I do. Selfishly, I do. This show isn't about me, but the reason I say that is because as I talk through these things, in my head, I'm like, oh, that's why you're struggling at this particular point in time. That's why you're struggling with this particular thing, because I'm just as guilty as the next guitar player. Sometimes I focus on an outcome and I get there and I'm like, oh, that's it, right? So me talking through this stuff helps me, and I really, honestly, it's for you, and I hope it helps you as well. At least gain some perspective on your guitar journey as a whole and how you really need to be enjoying it, because the enjoyment and the fun is paramount. If you have those things, the rest will come without a doubt. Even when you get down in the dumps, think to yourself, I got into guitar to have fun. I got into guitar to have this thing that is purely mine, that is rewarding, right? So just remind yourself of that, and again, focus on the process. Okay, now I'm officially stepping down from the soapbox. I owe you a trivia answer, don't I? If you don't remember your question, that's okay. I've got your back. I'm here to remind you. Here was your question of the day. What job did Bill Withers have while he was trying to pursue his music career? And if you reached back into the bowels of your memory, that sounds so bad. Here's the answer. At age 31, while recording demos to try and make it in the music world, at age 31, let's just stop that for a second. 31, Bill Withers got his start at 31 years old. Pretty phenomenal. At 31, while recording demos to try and make it in the music world, Bill Withers was working at a factory making toilets and bathrooms for 747s. He made toilets. Yes, indeed, he made toilets. Fun fact, when Ain't No Sunshine went gold, the record company presented Bill Withers with a golden toilet seat, marking the start of his new career. What a fitting trophy, a golden toilet seat. What floors me about this is he was 31 when he decided to try and make it in the music world. 31. I think nowadays folks feel like, oh, if I haven't done it by 18, then I guess I've missed my window of opportunity. That's BS thinking. Quite simply, it's not correct. It's not accurate. You can make it at any time. I think Bill Withers is a great example. There's plenty of artists I can think of that did massively creative, impactful things much later in their life. And I think starting much later in your life actually gives you an odd advantage in a way. It comes with its own challenges, but it gives you an advantage of, quite simply, perspective. Okay, I'm done. I'm done coaching. I try and coach through everything. It's part of me. It's part of what I do. I feel like I am a purebred guitar coach. Guitar coach all boiled down. That's what I am. Anyways, before I sign off today, please do remember this. If you want to check out Tony's Acoustic Challenge, if you want to learn more, there's a link in the description below. Every single week, I teach the fundamentals of guitar through a nostalgic song that you know and love, and there's over 41,000 students already in there. Again, if you want to learn more, please click the link in the description below. And with that, I do need to sign off. We've only got one more episode this season, so this will be my last sign-off that gives you a sneak peek into next week. So let me go ahead and do that. Sneak peek into next week. Next week, what not to do at guitar stores. I'm going to teach you some things that I wish I knew when I first went to a guitar store, because I think I made a fool of myself. I actually got yelled at by a Guitar Center employee. You'll find out next week. You're also going to hear a guitar story that shows how sacrifice led to delayed guitar gratification. This is a really great story, one that I found a lot of insight in. I'm also going to show you a way to get the most mileage out of everything you learn on the guitar. And this is a hands-on lesson that I don't want you to miss, because it will open up it will unlock a door to your guitar and seeing the guitar fretboard in a way that you'll just be amazed. You'll just be blown away. So that's happening next week. What else? Oh, I've got, of course, some acoustic news you can use, some great stuff coming up your way. And that's going to be it for next week. Yes, indeed. Go ahead and remember, you can catch Acoustic Tuesday. Go ahead and remember. Please remember, you can catch Acoustic Tuesday every single Tuesday at 10 a.m., actually, while the season is going on. And next week will be our last episode of Season 2, so make sure to not miss it. And remember this. Your guitar success, however you define it for yourself, it is pure purely your definition is directly related to your guitar routine. So please invest the time in developing your guitar routine and make sure to have fun every single day that you play. Fun is absolutely critical. It is the keystone to your progress. The more fun you have, the more you want to play. The more you want to play, the more progress you'll achieve. The more progress you'll achieve, well, heck, it gets a lot more fun, and then the whole cycle repeats itself. So fun should be your absolute top priority. Thank you so much for, I almost said thank you so much for enjoying the show. Hopefully you did enjoy the show. Thank you so much for watching the show today. I really appreciate you spending the time with me, and I'll see you next Tuesday on the Acoustic Tuesday show. Cheers to you. Guitar Geeks Unite.